So, how are you feeling about the project so far?
Oh, definitely better. Because we had setbacks last week. We could only go up from there. So, it's going good so far. It's going better with the programming because that was a thing last time. That was an issue. The deadline wasn't met, and it wasn't communicated to me that it wasn't going well. So after that, we guys sat down, we talked more, and it's going better. And I had to, some of my friends offered to help out with programming too. So now we have some additional help that's really appreciated and makes me feel better about this project.
So, you guys are Astrofactz. How is the project going?
Oh, good. We just got word that they made a whole plan with the museum, how we're gonna get Z-Space. So it's like a switcheroo situation going on right now, where we're buying a Z-Space and we're taking one from the museum to borrow, and then once the one we ordered come in, the museum gets that one. It's a whole switcheroo process, but we are getting it.
Awesome.
I am Ainsley Johnson, and I am the UX lead for the Astrofactz team. We've had some setbacks, but that's something that I've learned. Every project is going to have its setbacks, but it's provided a great opportunity to learn how to overcome obstacles. And I'm really excited to see where it's going. And recently, over the past 2 weeks, I've gotten a lot of design work, and we're finally getting to see something come together, which is really exciting. So what I am currently working on is I am sort of designing the screens that are going to be in the game, and those are eventually going to go to the programmers, and they are going to kind of take those rough screens and make them a reality. So I incorporate animations, any assets that the art team gave us. I show them how they're going to be laid out. It's kind of like a rough draft of the game before we actually take it to the programming stage. So it's really important that we have this because it's kind of something where I can show the rest of the team, this is how I think this should work. And we've kind of been iterating on it, and I've been showing them, this is my vision. Do we need to change it? And I've been talking to programming, I've been like, is this something we can do, or is this something that I'm completely going crazy with? And they kind of help correct me, and we work together to kind of steer it in the right course.
I'm definitely feeling a lot better because about a week ago or so, we kind of realized we are way behind schedule than we should have been. But we definitely kind of what's the word I'm looking for? But we definitely kind of we got our shit together, started building a more detailed plan, and we're definitely I think we're still maybe a little bit behind right now, but we're definitely in a much better place than we were a week ago, and I'm pretty proud of how the team has been doing so far.
So for the programming to Z-Space, you guys are still going strong with that? It's not super difficult to do it without the table?
I think so far we're doing all right. We still haven't gotten Z-Space, so I don't know how much of a difficulty spike it's going to be to get it from a PC to Z-Space, but Z-Space does have its own development kit or something, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get to work. I'm hoping.
Cool. What kind of programming stuff are you guys doing? What are you programming currently?
Earlier today I kind of reworked the movement system of the game to make it feel a lot more clean. And we're still trying to get a little bit of the last bit of functionality kind of working before we start to get to Z-Space and start polishing it.
Awesome.
I'm Leonardo Hernandez. I'm a freshman game art major and working on Astrofactz, working on the models. Really, we're using Maya right now for 3D models, and really it's a really kind of seamless transition from bringing those models into Unity. And I guess the only one real big problem right now is probably communication and understanding what needs to be done right now. But that's a hurdle we're working our way over, and we're getting over that pretty fast.
So what are you actually working on like right now? Like what specific models are you trying to get through?
I just finished working on a 3D model for a rover, like a Mars rover. So we just someone else on our team's also been like putting texture baking it. But right now we're just working to like flesh it out and get it working into the whole game in general. And you know, so far so good. No real challenges. I got another person working on like a alien blender to also be in the game, so that's a lot of fun. And you know, overall it's just smooth sailing right now with the 3D models.
Awesome.
What are the major points right now that you're thinking about for user testing or that you want to be tested?
So unfortunately, we don't have a terrible amount truly built in terms of like interactions that we have planned. Just because unfortunately 3D modeling has been taking a while in terms of rigging, animating things. That's something that's going to keep going to the polish stage. But the main things we want is at the very least the base interactions that Cade and one of our programmers built in there. We also want to see, just in terms of the environment, is it easy for them to navigate? Is it easy for them to understand sort of the basic things like, you know, is the UI implemented in a way that they can understand I can interact with this object, or like, you know, I click this to interact with this object, essentially. So it's more simple stuff like that right now. One thing that I do want to test is just have people run at the borders of the world. A la traditional game testing.
Like collision.
Yeah, see if people can clip through the batteries. About usability testing tomorrow, I'm a little nervous about it. In all honesty, like in the schedule that I made before winter break, we would have had a lot more done by now, and we obviously don't because like I feel bad because programming is like begging me for more stuff, like to give them more stuff. And I unfortunately can't get because 3D hasn't had enough stuff done, which I mean, we're trying hard. There's 4 of us, and only 3 of those 4 know how to animate, so it's hard. But, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to it just so we know, like, where to proceed from here. But I'm a little nervous because it's the first time someone that's not, you know, immediately part of the team, that's the first time that someone that isn't part of the team is going to be using it and seeing it. So it feels a little awkward. It's kind of like, at this point, it's kind of like bearing part of your soul. Like, I put my heart and soul into this. Please like it.
I'm Evan Lorraine. I'm a modeler and animator for Meditation Station. Yeah, the modeling is going pretty well. We're kind of just working towards getting things just kind of polished up and ready for a more presentable, like, environment, but overall, I mean, it's going pretty well. We've got the majority of it done and rigged, and yeah.
Yeah, what goes into actually modeling?
Yeah,
what do you have to do to get something looking the way you want it to, looking good?
Yeah, so a lot of it's just building it up from smaller shapes. So you start off with as simple of something as you can get to then slowly form it into what you need to finish with. So it's just a bit of a process. You gotta get a lot of reference photos, make sure you know how you want your thing to look, and then it's just the process of slowly building it up and then kind of just, refining it over time.
So you got a deer and a moth. Those are 2 pretty normal. Are you gonna have any like mythical creatures in the game?
Nothing too mythical, but we're doing a lot of a like nature-y theme on the more normal creatures.
Oh, so like you're adding like overgrowth to things.
Yep, basically.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
So hi, I'm Peter Campbell, and I'm a programmer for Meditation Station. I'm not used to, in regards to user testing, I just want to see how many times my script will run, because for the experience, it's best if it works differently every time it goes, and I'm not sure how many times it'll go for the duration of the thing. Actually right now I am just redoing something that I had before that was lost. I'm working on making birds that fly over in the background.
Gotcha. How does that work in the programming sense? Because that seems like more of a modeling thing to me. But how does it work to program in the models?
Well, right now I'm not working with models. I'm just getting the movement right, so they're gonna move across to a certain point, and then I'm gonna shrink them out and teleport to another place so that they can fly over again.
So then you just apply that code to the model.
Yeah. It's more the other way around.
Oh, okay. So apply the model to the code.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting.
Any questions that I have about user testing right now? Right now we're just testing whether or not things work, whether or not the player is effectively communicated to, they know what they're doing, they know how to do things, and just in general, they can exist in the environment. So most of the questions from me would be, can you do the things that we want you to do, or can you do the things that you want to do? And are there things that maybe you shouldn't be able to do?
So what's been going on in programming for the past week?
Programming, so right now, because most of the models have been done or are currently being animated,
Right now, what programmers are just doing is kind of like almost like polish, not quite the polish that you have at the end of the project, but making sure that what we have.
So just making sure that everything runs smoothly without any like super flashy points for the tester.
Yeah.
Basically, like no one can go in and get epilepsy.
Yeah, that would be bad. We have dealt with that, so yeah, things like that. But just trying to make sure things sort of are smooth, and then once we get to our next areas, we can sort of take what we learned about the first area and apply that elsewhere.
I'd say that, well, we're very happy with the user testing feedback we got. It definitely gave a lot of insight into what we do look closer at. The main thing was having the battle portion like be more interactive, so that there's more stuff for players to do instead of just watching and staring at the screen. So after that, we pretty much immediately took to brainstorming. And right now we have a new thing for players to do during the battle to actually help potentially improve how their monster they created actually fight and hopefully win.
So you guys just play tested today, didn't you?
Yes. We're talking about the feedback currently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to navigate it.
What all feedback have you gotten so far?
So our game during the battle scene, it isn't interactive in the fact that they hit buttons and move the characters. It's like pre-generated, and the figures fight each other. So we're trying to figure out a way to clarify that with the user, and having like maybe them use sounds or like press buttons and things being thrown to add some kind of level of interactivity to it.
Because you want to stick with the preset, the preset cinematic type feel.
Yes.
Right.
So what I do is I design the core mechanics. I help design the core mechanics of the game, and I help make the screen look like, put it in a way where we can easily convey those ideas and help those mechanics come to life. And overall just provide a good experience for the player so that they, easily go from point A to point B to point C without any interruptions or problems. Our current build, I want to say the player experience is overall pretty okay. We're getting a clear idea now on what we want to finally do. Like was mentioned earlier, we had to come up with a mechanic to get the players more involved, mainly because they really wanted to they wanted to be more involved in the action rather than just seeing it. I think overall, once we start getting more animations and more flashy attacks, effects, colors, whatever you want to call it, the more we add that, the more enjoyable the overall experience will be, because we're trying to emulate that feeling of, watching your favorite sports teams battle it out at a sports bar, for example, and seeing them make all these crazy plays and, oh crap, he got a touchdown or whatever. We want to recreate that, except it's an episode of Dragon Ball Z between two monsters that you and your opponent have created.
So what's your role on the team? Here.
I help with the design aspect of things.
So like the UI UX or more the graphic design?
I would say more of the graphic. So we have a menu where it's like player 1, player 2, start, press a button. I believe we are still getting that, trying to get that like fixed and whatnot to like get buttons mapped and all that, and then you pretty much choose your like character selection and whatnot, and then you like watch them fight.
How do you feel like that system is going? Because I tested the game earlier today, and it's interesting how you're doing a sort of cinematic style with the fights, in that you can't control them.
Yeah.
How are you going to make that feel like the player is still engaged after they make their character? Like they've made this character, they're excited to fight with him, and they can't really control him. So how are you going to keep that engagement?
I think for the first part, one of the things we noticed during testing was that the players that were, of course, playing the game didn't realize that they couldn't control the monsters that they created. So I guess one of the first things that we should tell them like right away is that just sit back and enjoy the mayhem. But of course, more importantly,
so it's more a user expectation thing.
Yeah, kind of. But more importantly, you've talked about it before. We're planning on using all the different buttons for throwing random objects at the screen, or either like some minor stage interaction, or like sounds and stuff. Nothing that really impacts what goes on in the game, but just something to keep the player occupied while they're watching the fight go down.
To be honest, we have very little in our playtest. It's just a trunk with some blocks and maybe some eyeballs, and you can customize the height and the width. But people were immersed in it. It's pretty amazing, just like seeing. We just handed them the phone, or it was a tablet actually. We handed them it. They scanned the little photo at the bottom, and they were just looking up. They were like, "Whoa, oh my God, this tree is crazy!" And it's like the most basic tree ever. It's just, but like people just don't have I want to say too much experience in AR. You know, it might be like Pokemon Go is the only augmented reality type of experience they have. But like seeing something else in their hands that they're able to use it's pretty cool. I think that was the most immersive aspect about it, was what people liked.
So, how is the game project going? Like, how are the teams working together? How is the art going?
Yeah, so as of now, one of the first things we need to get done is that banner, obviously. We were just kind of throwing on it. We're concepting ideas right now. Having the UI team do that. It's a similar field, you know, doing the banners and such for the actual exhibit. As for the rest of the art team, we're doing 3D modeling and the environments. We have about a third of our models done for all plants, and we still have a long way to go and a lot of alien features to create. Other than that, once we have all the art, we're gonna have my programming team. We're gonna start implementing them into the actual project. Right now, we only have trees being built. We're gonna have flowers and ferns/grasses. Those are gonna be implemented within this next week here. That's basically the stuff we're working on right now, is plant models and then implementing them in. We're also going to need to figure out how to display live feeds of our iPads being used in AR to a screen, so the people in the queue line can be able to see that. A lot of programming stuff, honestly, right now. Not so much the art. The art is running smoothly, but the programming just got a lot of tasks just slammed on it. So that's what we're going to be focusing on.
Okay, cool.
Hi there, my name is Jeremy Gluck. I'm currently working on our banner design. All of my team members have been super nice and supportive. Everybody's really great. One of our team members just brought in donuts today. That was super nice. But I'd say as a team, we have great communication and work together really well.
Yeah. So we kind of got the verbal smackdown yesterday in our production class. It really wasn't that bad. I'm exaggerating, but it came down to either everything is in AR or nothing is in AR. And essentially what that came down to was we have certain virtual environments that we're working on right now for people, or at least we plan for people to, once they're done with their plant, they can put it in this garden that's displayed off to the side by 3 TVs. And we had this set piece imagined for it. We were gonna have it look like the whole of a space base. So you're looking out of these windows, but it's just, the environment. I was excited for it, but David did bring up a good point in saying that, there's this divide, this jump between focusing on creating a plant in AR and having it go off to the side to a place where you probably didn't notice it before. And it's that kind of whiplash, I suppose, for guests in seeing their plant, go to a place that is beyond where they initially expected it to be. That I think is, kind of reshaping our current goals and objectives. So right now we just want to keep everything in the present moment. I think the coolest thing for our guests, and especially since we didn't have the garden functionality, was that it was, quote unquote, in their world. That, integrated reality was really exciting for them, and I think we just got to build on it.
So you're working on the alien, making it more alien.
Yep.
What else are you guys working on?
Right now, we are also in the process of redefining what we're doing for environments. It sounds like we're just focusing on one at the moment, and that's going to save us a lot of headaches because our initial plan here, you can see this is our generation map. What we've got initially are 3 environments. We had desert, mountains, and Arctic planned out. Right now, the only thing that is actually tangible in Engine is mountains, or lush, it's just our standard environment. What's gonna happen is we're getting rid of these two and focusing on the core one and just having anything we want in there. With these two different environments, since we didn't want like really weird color combinations or things that looked too clashy, we thought, oh, we'll have different color palettes people can, you know, kind of operate in depending on which environment they choose. Which is a good idea on paper, but I think by focusing on one environment and having all colors be possible, we are still emphasizing that alien idea while also cutting down literally 2/3 of the environment work we need to do. So it's this weird sort of feeling when we're rescoping, because it is going to be less work, it is going to allow us more possibility, but we really are killing our, you know, our idea babies here. This is, you know, it's really hard to let go of some of the features that we've planned out. And I think, honestly, it's just something you kind of have to make peace with, especially this, you know, late in the game, I think.
Next time on Fuse Plugged In.
Getting feedback for bugs, asking people to break the game, that was incredibly beneficial.
I'm feeling really good about the direction of the project and all the feedback we've gotten. So a lot of the functions that we are used to having don't work anymore.
We talked to Heather and she said it took her 4 months to get a student's project approved.
I'm very thankful that my team has been really good about keeping up with milestones. And thank you, Haley, for picking a 2D game for us. It's so much easier to program than a 3D game.